All right, fellow fact checkers, we've got a brand new sponsor, and I am excited to promote this product. It's Fox and Sons Coffee. Now, Fox and Sons Coffee is a family-owned and operated small business selling whole bean, organically roasted, amazingly good coffee. On their website, Steve, the company's founder, describes how his love of coffee started with special Saturdays with his dad when he was growing up. Steve wants to share his love of coffee with you and the entrepreneurial spirit with his sons. Check out the website, foxinsons.com, and take a look at their best offer, a monthly subscription for 3 bags of coffee with free shipping for $38.89. Also, Steve's been on the show. He's a friend of the show. He follows us on the morning after as well as here on Fact Check This Podcast. Steve is a great dude, great company to support. So go check out Fox and Sons Coffee and get your morning started off right with a bag of delicious Fox and Sons coffee. Let's start the show. This episode will be completely taken out of context. Welcome to the Fact Check This Podcast. All right, Fact Check This Podcast, and today I'm going to read another article, and this one actually has video to go along with it, so you don't just have to hear me fumble through attempting to read in a thick Southern accent. You get to hear somebody else with an even worse, even thicker accent talk about what the article is going to be about. So let's bring this up. I just want to say at the beginning, I absolutely hated this article. I hated everything about it, and I'll get into that once I get into it. All right. Let's bring it up. Millennials are stuck in time. Content creator breaks down exactly why millennials are considered immature. So I'm going to play her video, and then we'll just kind of take it from there.
If you're a millennial, tell me if this resonates with you, because it certainly did me. I've just come across a video that kind of blew my mind a little bit. It was saying how millennials are stuck in time. We've been stuck in time somewhere down the line. Because we experienced the second greatest recession, we haven't hit milestones that the generations before us did, apparently, which makes us very immature for our age. Apparently. And if you were to ask a millennial when 30 years ago was, we'll say like 1970. And we don't dress accordingly either. We dress a lot. We dress, I guess, immaturely. I mean, I am 38 and I'm sat here with a Coca-Cola jumper on and I've got some high tops on. Probably at my age, I'm probably meant to be in a cardigan and some loafers. I'm not too sure because I've never had style. So I don't know. But I felt that. I'm definitely immature. That's probably why no adults like my content and I've just got young followers. I'm cool. I'm down with that. Spent my life not being liked anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. But yeah, if you are a millennial, do you feel that? Or are you just smashing life, you're mature, you're wearing your loafers and your correct clothes, and it's just me?
Well, yes, I do believe I wear my dad's shoes and my dad clothes. Maybe. We'll get to it. I'm going to read through the article. Millennials are stuck in time. Content creator breaks down exactly why millennials are considered immature. If you're new to this universe, you might not know that millennials get blamed for pretty much everything, despite inheriting a messed up economy, a messed up workplace culture, a messed up political system, and a messed up climate. But before I go on and complain, which is apparently the only thing boomers think we know how to do, let's shift gears and talk about how exactly these factors have had an effect on us. TikTok creator Leona shared her thoughts below, and that's who we watched. The idea that millennials are stuck in time is a tough pill to swallow, but there's truth to it. As Gen Z continues to mature and join the workforce, the unmistakable feeling of in-betweenness for millennials only becomes more and more uncomfortable. According to Beresford Research, millennials in 2022 range from ages 26 to 41. Gone are the days when the feeling of floundering in life can be excused by a remark about being in your early 20s. No, many of us are reaching 30 and soon 40. Yet that stunted growth still feels ever present, from the apartments we live in to the clothes we wear. There's a positive outlook to be had here. Maybe millennials shifted the culture, and the old ideas of where you're supposed to be in life by the time you hit 25, 30, 40 have evolved. But it can be hard to stay positive when you grew up watching your parents live by other standards. You can stay defiant in your choices, give yourself a break, or hold yourself accountable to new standards. But the new standards are always defined in relation to old ones. In other words, our points of comparison from the generations before us will always be there. So, how do we get unstuck? Who knows? But maybe that's not the right way of thinking about it. One thing I do know for sure, though, is that self awareness can go a long way. Taking that moment to analyze why we are the way we are can help us figure out what's in our control and what's actionable. As for the things that are outside of your control, laugh at them when you can. There's nothing else you can do about it. And for more, take a look at these great millennial memes, which we're not going to do. I hate everything about this. It kind of goes back to the quiet quitting stuff that I had talked about some weeks ago. There is a high level of just laziness and worthless fuckery about my generation. Generally speaking, I think millennials have had their hands held, they've been coddled, they haven't been given the proper amount of responsibility. I was lucky. I was kind of on the very, very beginning end of like the participation trophy bullshit. Like I remember playing basketball and baseball in like junior high and later in elementary school. And everybody got a participation trophy, but the league champions got a different trophy. And the league runner up got a different trophy. Like you wanted to be playing in the championship game. Like, you wanted to get that trophy. You didn't just want the participation trophy. Like it wasn't everybody got the same trophy. It was you got a trophy for being in the league, but if you were on the team that won, you got a much better trophy. And that's what you wanted. You wanted to be the league champion. And somewhere along the line, all the participation trophy bullshit, the helicopter moms, the dumbing down of our educational system, like all of that stuff started to really rear its ugly head. And so most of the millennial generation never really had to be responsible for stuff. They never had to do stuff on their own. I had friends who we had to do English portfolio for our senior years high school, and you got a grade for it. It was like a generic grade that you just like got tagged on to your year. But there were a couple students in the class who their mom would go through and proofread and even help them write some of their papers for their English portfolio so they could get a high grade on that portfolio and look good. I gave not two fucks about the English portfolio. I wrote stuff that I thought was interesting to me and did the bare minimum of what was required for it to get a passing grade. But I also, grew up on a farm and we had responsibilities from the time we were kids. My dad would get me and my brother up at 5:30 in the morning in the summers and feed us breakfast and then take us out to a field and drop us off in the middle of a field. And I remember the first time that he took us out and he pulled this big giant weed up and he said, "This is a pigweed." He said, every time you find one of these in this field, pull it up and get the roots and all. Don't leave anything behind. I said, and I'll come back and get you for lunch. And then he got back in his truck and he went the fuck on to go do other stuff for the day and left me and my brother in a field a few miles away from the house, just out in the middle of the field in the middle of summer. And let me tell you, I took that big ass pigweed that he pulled and I looked out across the field and God, there were a bunch of them. And so that's what we did. We spent our days pulling weeds and driving tractors. I learned to drive a truck when I was 9. Like, there's a lot of my generation that didn't get those experiences. And the generations before us, especially the boomers, but even Gen X, they had those responsibilities. They had to be self-reliant. They had expectations that were put on them that you went and you did it because your parents were going to come do it for you. Gen X is like the latchkey kid generation. They were the generation that parents didn't give a single solitary fuck about them and left them home alone most of the time. They had to be self-sufficient. And the boomers came up in things were changing, and it was a rapidly progressing world, and they were kind of the generation that got to grab it by the balls and shape where we are now. Okay, boomer is a funny thing these days, but like for all of the problems that we have with society, it's they also are the ones who kind of created this whole thing. So yeah, maybe they did it without a whole lot of foresight, or maybe things about it got perverted or twisted or turned in ways that they didn't expect it to. But without them, you also don't have all of this. So there's something to be said for that. But our generation doesn't do that. Our generation doesn't create things. Our generation, this is fucking podcasts and Instagrams and TikToks and dumb bullshit. This is what our generation creates. They don't build things. They don't make things. The question at the end said, how do we get unstuck? Who knows? But maybe that's not the right way of thinking about it. No. How do we get unstuck? That is the problem that has been put in front of you. And now you go fucking solve the problem. This is the problem. This is a problem with millennials, with this generation. Is they don't want to solve the problem. They don't want to find solutions. They don't want to take responsibility, grab life by the balls, and go be the fucking dictator of your own outcomes. They want to say, maybe we should be looking for ways to redefine the question. Maybe we're not asking the right question. Maybe you just need to sit back and laugh and not take things so seriously. Bunch of worthless pieces of shit. My generation spent a lot of time in college getting fucking worthless degrees to go do things that they thought would make them a lot of money instead of going to do things that they actually wanted to do. Or getting worthless degrees for things that don't actually have a need. Way too many people are going to school for a fucking art degree or a psychology degree or all of these worthless ass degrees that the industry has no need for all of you. That's why so many psychology degrees for my age group, they would get the degree and then they would then turn around and go back to medical school or nursing school or something like that. And like the degree would get used in a medical practice somewhere, but then nobody needs that many psychologists. I mean, I guess nowadays maybe, but it's an oversaturation. And There's so many completely useless things that's what the millennials pursued, was the useless things, the stupid things. Our Coca-Cola jumper and their jumpsuit and high tops. The surface level things that have no value, that have no depth, that have no use beyond makes you feel good. And that's all that my generation cares about, is just wanting to feel good, right? And blame the second worst recession in history, but I worked through it. Never missed a meal, never missed a bill. Had 2 kids during it. Deciding that you're going to be successful, and go fucking be successful, instead of deciding that you want to blame boomers and recessions and the economy and the climate for why you're a fucking failure. And the reason that Gen Z is entering the workforce and not doing those things is because they sat and watched millennials fuck up possibly the most amazing time to be alive, with all of the technology that's at our fingertips, with everything that's going on in the world, all the changes and the growth. And for what it's worth, it's fucking amazing. And millennials have sat around and bitched about it, about what a shitty hand they've been dealt. And Gen Z is coming up watching millennials sit around and bitch about what a shitty hand they've been dealt. And they're going and they're doing the thing that we should have been doing. And when I say we, I mean the ones who are putting together TikTok videos like this dumbass. Not me. But generally speaking, what Gen Z is doing is what we should have been doing. Grabbing life by the horns and riding that motherfucker. If you want to be successful, just go be successful. Find something and just go do it, and quit being such a fucking bitch. I knew I was going to get heated about this episode, but I can't help it. I mean, it just disgusts me to watch people have nothing but sad, pathetic bullshit when you have all of the information the world could ever offer you at your fingertips, all of the access, all of the ability to reach out and just do it. And they won't. Not that they can't, it's they won't. And that just disgusts me. Be better. I know everybody in my audience is most definitely better. That's why you listen to stuff like this. I hope everybody has a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week. I will be back with another episode and another article next time. I haven't decided which one I'm going to do yet. Oh, that's a good one. When a conspiracy theory turns out to be not a theory. This is a good article. It also touches on some of the fact-checking stuff, like the larger topics of fact checkers. So I may tag a couple of different articles in with that on top of it. Not that I'm going to read all of them, but I know you can only tolerate me reading so much. But anyway, it all kind of intertwines. So I think I'll do that one. So tune in next time for conspiracies and fact checkers. Have a good one, everybody. Don't forget to head over to palomaverdecbd.com and check out our longest and most favorite sponsor, Carlos and Vanessa Abelar and Paloma Verde CBD. Get all of your CBD needs, and you get 10% off your order of $75 or more, plus anything over $75 is free shipping. So head over to palomaverdecbd.com to get all your CBD needs. Have a good week, everybody.